Hi, I'm Lita Liepins.
And I'm Jim Gordon.
And welcome to another edition of Our City Tonight. Happy New Year.
Yes, Happy New Year to you, my dear friends.
To you too.
It is our first show in 2022. We hope you had a great holiday season. Whatever you celebrate, we are here again at one of our favorite restaurants, Hydra Restaurant in the Exchange Hotel. Food in front of us, which we're going to eat while you watch this. Well, in our last episode of Our City Tonight, we enjoyed some time, Lita, up here at Whistler for the film festival, and we also checked out a great restaurant called Carumba, but we're back again.
We are back again, and we are going to check out their sister restaurant called Quattro. Let's go check that out, Jim.
Let's talk about cocktails. We've got wine coming up, but I know cocktails are a big thing of what you do here at Quattro.
Cocktails are all the rage these days, as we all know. So one of the things we did when we purchased Quattro a year ago is I flew out the top cocktail master from Montreal to do our cocktail menu and create our cocktails. So this is one of them, obviously, that he did, and this is called the Butterfly Daisy. It's Empress Gin, which is the lavender gin that's made specifically for the Empress Hotel. And then we mix that with some orange liqueur, and then we have a little lemon here. So what we'll do is when we pour this, it'll actually turn it to a little bit of a pink, a rosy pink.
Oh, nice.
Right? So that's just that acid of the lemon working with the lavender gin. So quite unique. And then we have our nice little ice cube there, which is stamped with our logo.
I was going to say, your own logo on your ice. You have arrived when that happens.
Why not?
And this is called again, Jay?
Butterfly Daisy.
Very nice. Jay, our second cocktail has got quite a setup that impresses cocktail lovers. Very nice.
This is what we call from the smoker section of our cocktail list.
Right.
This is called the Smoky Old Fashioned. And so let's see, as we present it to the table, we'll just open this up and the smoke will filter out to the table. The guests will grab their drink, and here we are.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Cocktails, you've been around the game a long time. We've known each other for about 20 years. Cocktails really have skyrocketed in terms of their popularity.
That's it's a great point. We, a funny story, my bar manager mentioned that for years he was making maybe 1 to 2 Negronis a year or a month. Now we're 10, 15 a night, right? It's the cocktail scene is definitely grown for sure. Yeah.
Jay, of course, we've talked cocktails, but wine is certainly one of the stars of this restaurant.
Celebration of life, exactly. Yeah. Yes, celebrating with friends. Picked a couple of favorites of mine for you today. This is the Herman from Pinot Grigio, the grape is Pinot Grigio, classic region where Pinot Grigio comes from, northeast Italy.
Yeah.
Herman, one of the top producers, really beautiful wine, beautiful white wine. On to the red, I have Il Bruciato, which is from the Guadaltasso Antinori property in Bulgaria.
Okay, yeah.
And so Guadaltasso is their top tier wine, and then this is what we call the Baby Guado. It's their their second label.
Right.
Still a wonderful wine. Interesting enough, it's sort of a Cab Merlot Syrah blend, so not typical grapes that you would see from Italy, where Sangiovese's there, but that's what they're doing mostly in Bulgaria, and it's makes fantastic wine.
Can I ask you, just before we wrap things up, do you carry a lot of BC wine? Is that something people can find?
Absolutely, for sure. Of course, we've got BC is awesome, the Okanagan Wine Valley, and all through BC. We definitely have a large BC selection. Excellent. Yeah.
Hey, Jay's going to join us at the end of the show as we wrap things up. We'll talk more about Quattro. Lita's going to be back with James, kind of your partner and your nephew, correct?
Correct.
Yes, he was on the show when we were at Carumba a couple years ago. He's going to talk about some of the great appetizers they have here at Quattro that is coming up a little later in Our City Tonight. Well, in our last episode, part of the episode, I should say, was covering the Whistler Film Festival. Great to be back again, Lita. We are back here again for this episode to go back and check out some more on the festival.
Yeah, it was great to talk to some really wonderful actors at the Whistler Film Festival.
Yeah, we should say nice people, too. Take a look.
Well, I am here with Run Woman Run, supporting character actor Asivak Kostivan. Did I say Kostachin? Thank you. I was working on that, but the good news is that I saw the film and I loved it, and it was excellent. And your character is really, really cool. You play a spirit, and it's interesting how your supporting character really does push and drive the plot, the subplot, I guess you would say, in the movie. Tell us a little bit about this amazing character.
Tom Longboat, there's a lot to say about him. Early 1900s, he was the Boston Marathon winner. He went to the Olympics. He grew up on the Res and Six Nations. An integral part into his community. A leader in a lot of ways. There's so much about Tom, and definitely very honored to have been able to portray him. So our main character, Beck, is struggling, and she's in need of help, and she can't really get it from her family, her direct family. So out of nowhere comes along the spirit of Tom Longboat. And basically the premise is we have helpers, we have people who can guide us from our past, our ancestors. And no matter where you are in the world, you have ancestors, and they've been through things, and it's in your blood. There's strength in your blood and who you are. So being able to come as the spirit of Tom Longboat and help Beck in this story is a real treat for me to do.
Yeah, well, it was excellent. And in your blood, it was a continuing theme throughout the movie.
Yes.
Now, what are we going to see you up and coming next?
So my mother
Yay, Mom.
just finished her first feature film a few weeks ago, and I got to play a character in that movie.
Excellent, excellent. Can you give us any
It's called Broken Angel. Broken Angel was shot in Fort Langley, just outside of Vancouver.
Oh.
And it should be coming out a year from now.
Wonderful, wonderful. Well, thanks for spending some time with us on the red carpet here at Whistler Film Festival, and good luck with your movie.
Thank you very much.
Well, more familiar faces here at the Whistler Film Festival on Our City Tonight. Media icon, I'm going to call him here in Canada, known throughout the world. He's got a great radio show on Apple Music called Strombo, heard in 165 countries. It's great to have George Strombolopoulos join us here on Our City Tonight. Good to see you, sir.
You too, brother. How are you?
Well, thank you.
Excellent.
Hey, let's talk first of all about you being up here in Whistler.
Right.
You're getting a inaugural award, Founders Award from the Whistler Film Festival. You've been coming here since the beginning.
Yeah.
Talk a bit about how you've seen this festival really grow and how much better it is now for young filmmakers, actors coming up here and promoting and getting their movies out
I
there.
think the first time I came up here was when they were having their 5th anniversary, and we did a live broadcast of our show, the CBC show, from here. We did it in the one of the restaurants here. It was super energetic. It was really fun, and there was just an amazing vibe here. And what the sense you got was that this was a festival that was a mountain festival, not just geographically, but it had the spirit of it, which is, if you were here to do this, this is what you were here to do. And you could see that young filmmakers were meeting more established filmmakers, and relationships were being built. And in this game, that's it.
Yeah.
When you're trying to assemble a project, you're trying to find a new thing, you're thinking of what comes to mind, right? And you meet these wonderful people and make amazing relationships here. This isn't a festival that was just designed for, let's go to gift lounges or let's just be photographed. This wasn't that kind of scene. This felt like a really great place for a young filmmaker to gain another step. And I think that that's really important. I felt that way when I came to the first one, my first one, and ever since then I've tried to come back as often as I can.
Yeah, I was mentioning in the intro, there's so many things you do. I love that you diversify so much in all the mediums. I want to talk a bit about your humanitarian work. I love this thing that you do about music and film therapy. You were up here, of course, for the Reunite Festival to benefit the power of music and film. Talk a bit about your belief in what that can do.
I think that we all know how difficult this world is, even if you're feeling your best. And if you have physical and health challenges, it's particularly difficult. And music therapy provides a lot of comfort to people, provides a lot of ease for people, especially people who aren't going to be healed in the traditional sense, people in palliative care. And we live in such a results-based society where everybody wants a cure for a thing. So you can, oh, we did it, we move on, everything's back to normal. But that's not how this world works, as we know. So anything that can help ease somebody's journey is really amazing. And music therapy, in the hands of a music professional, because there's one thing to feel that music can be therapeutic for you, but music therapy in the hands of a trained professional can really help your brain, can really help your heart. And I think that it's also not an area that gets a lot of support from traditional avenues, traditional government places. Because again, it's not results-based. We raised this much and it means we can feed this many people, which is all important and there's lots of places, but this one isn't as flashy as that because it doesn't have the same end result. And I just love the idea that you come together because it's about easing somebody's pain, clearing a path in whatever way you can. It's empathy, compassion, all of that stuff. And I think the music therapists don't get nearly enough support, but do incredible work. They're the ones with your family when you're not with your family. They're the ones who are often there trying to help your mother, your father, your sister, your brother, hopefully not, but one day maybe yourself, feel a little bit better in a tough moment. I think that's pretty powerful.
I got to mention this too, because you and I grew up in a time when radio was radio. It's become so homogenized now.
We were there in the tail end of it.
The tail end, It's so corporate now, and I bring that up only because when we were talking the other day about your radio show, I'm not saying this in a demanding way, but you kind of went in and said, I want to do it this way. I want to be able to do this and this and this. Talk a bit about the show and how you bring to the table stuff that you love that other people want to hear.
They came to me, Apple, and said, would you like to join us to launch this new thing with us? And I said, what is it? And they said, just kind of come over here and be you. We love music and we love people who love music and we know the value of sharing music, so would you do that? And I trusted them, and they have lived up to it. Because they are like us. They love music and they love community and they love culture and they know the value of it and the responsibility they have. And so I didn't even have to say, I want to do what I want to do. They just said, come and just do this with us. And I've really enjoyed it. Because, again, on my particular show, The Daily Show, it's music essentially from the last 30 years. And people get connected to a time in their life. And it's more than nostalgia, because nostalgia is a strange kind of word that I think we use as a catch-all. But I think it's inspiring to people to be connected to that moment when they felt this for the first time, or they met that person for the first time. And we try to fan the flames of your energy and your passion, right? And that's kind of our approach on that show. It's been really fun. I feel like radio has always been the same. It's just that we were so lucky that we grew up listening to it and being a part of it in this one weird window where radio was a bit experimental. Because we had that 70s AOR format, album format, that didn't last long.
No,
and it wasn't there before.
No, you're right.
It was always hits anyway. So we kind of just got lucky that we were in this one little spot where radio was really, really creative.
Yeah, it's very true. I think because you and I grew up back east where a station like CFNY.
And Q107.
The Q107 were turning me on to music. I thought, wow, I'm not hearing this on the regular station.
Dude, I was listening to Iron Maiden and Bob Marley and The Police and Led Zeppelin and Alice Cooper and Jimi Hendrix on the same radio station and Janis Joplin on the same radio station. And it was reggae and it was comedy and it was jazz. They were playing Miles Davis on Sunday mornings. It was, who does that?
No one.
And that's why when Apple came to me, that's what we do. So they're like, yeah, we're going to do all of it. I went, I'm down. I want to be a part of that.
Hey, we should say that George and I compromised. I didn't have a tie on today. George put a collar on.
Today.
And we should say, just before we go quickly, with all you've done, I love original stories and your original DJ job.
My original DJ job was an illegal pirate radio station in Rexdale, Ontario, in a shopping mall. A guy that I knew, he said he got him, but I believe he stole the plans to a transmitter, built one, convinced the shopping mall to let us broadcast in the intercom system. Did not tell the shopping mall that he was taking that feed, connecting it to an illegal transmitter, and then we broadcast. I think we lasted for a couple of months before everybody figured out what we were up to. And our wattage was like not even 1 watt, right?
But someone could hear it in the parking lot.
You could actually hear it. You could hear it across the street at the library. You could probably hear it a few hundred yards away from the shopping mall. I got to play Christmas music. I got to practice on the air. It was a good introduction to the business too, because I also didn't get paid. Because he said to me, it's a good experience, and you're passionate about it, and that's when you first realize how they're going to take advantage of you in entertainment. Yeah. But I learned it early, and I loved it. Nobody made anybody on that station. No. But it was really fun.
What a great beginning for a guy who's done a lot. We should mention again George's show. Strombo is on Apple Music, 165 countries. Congratulations on that.
Brother.
And thank you for joining us up here, pal.
Good to see you, man.
Always good to see you.
You too. You too.
Well, I got the lucky straw, of course, and I get to sit with James and talk about the amazing menu here at Quattro. Now, it was fascinating talking to you that you guys took over a year ago, as of today, when we're filming this.
Yeah.
But you have a lot of the, I guess you've got the good relationship with the old owner, and tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah,
That's fascinating.
Yeah, Antonio Corsi, who was the previous, he was the one that was the brainchild behind Quattro. And many Quattros at that in the city, we like to play homage to him and to what he's offered and what he's brought to the culinary world and to the restaurant business, because for sure he's a legend. And so we kept some of his classics, like the Speedy Quattro, of course. I mean, we can't get rid of that, and no Parmesan cheese is ever anywhere near it, otherwise he'll lose it. And then, of course, the Ridico Bocconcini and some of the other classics like this, we keep on the menu because we know people love, they enjoy, and we embrace it because it's fantastic. And there's no reason to change it, right? But we also pivot and we try to not be modern by any means, still trying to keep it simple, but with flavor. Main purpose, ingredient driven, seasonality, and just embracing everything that's around us locally and cooking that in a beautiful Italian way that people can enjoy.
Well, we've sat down with you before and listened to how you've just fine-tweaked typical dishes, but dishes people come to expect when they come here. Well, this one is a great example.
Carpaccio, yeah.
Putting your own little fingerprint on this.
Well, a funny story about that one is, I love carpaccio. I love any sort of crudo of any kind. But I was in Spain a few years back with Mero, Nero, and Jay, and we were at this great restaurant, and I had pork tartare for the first time, Iberico pork tartare. And obviously, you could think, tartare pork? But it was with a black garlic puree or black garlic mayonnaise, and I just remember I fell in love with that flavor combination. So ever since then I've been playing around with it, but my version of this now is with the carpaccio. You get aiolis, you get certain things, but I think this is just so beautiful and the flavors work so well together, especially with the roasted pickled cipollini onions and of course Parmesan Reggiano, quail egg. What else do you need?
It's perfect, perfectly beautiful too. This is fascinating. Tell us about this one.
Yeah, so that's again a crudo. So that's albacore, so a local fish for us, local tuna that we use, which is amazing. And again, trying to embrace what's around us. And that's on a squid ink tapioca cracker. And then underneath is a mayonnaise made of the tuna belly, so a tuna tonnato, basically a tuna mayonnaise with some anchovy, a little bit of caper, and just a mayonnaise. And then we top it off with a cucumber and green olive salad with a bit of bite to it. So it's got a bit of salt from the olive, it's got a bit of sweetness in the dressing, and then the freshness of the cucumber, which just goes really well together because the tonnato is a bit rich. And then a little bit of a burnt onion powder, and that just kind of brings around that kind of earthiness to it that, we like to think of our food as textures and flavors, so not just one-dimensional, but try to do three-dimensional.
Well, moving right into this one, the homemade, this one's fascinating too. Tell us how this one is created.
Yeah, so
in-house.
this one's essentially a classic combination in my opinion. It's porcini soup with chestnuts, and for me, this time of year is something I remember when I was working in England for many years and other places. It always came on the menu just before festive, and it was something that we always did, that I always enjoyed, and it's just fantastic. So what we've done here is we made a beautiful soup out of dehydrated porcinis and some fresh porcinis, and the creaminess and the silkiness of the soup is really fantastic. But to pair that, we give it with a little chestnut puree. It's got a nice little sweetness to it, and then we've made these crackers, I guess you could say, but we call it our mushroom crackling, right? And it's kind of funny, right? But it's just porcinis and instant potato. Don't blame me. Instant potato
Sure, it's
and some
delicious.
cornmeal, but that's how we get the texture out of it. And it's really fantastic. And you know, it's all natural. It's beautiful.
Oh, beautiful. Well, you're continuing on a beautiful tradition here
Trying.
at Quattro.
Yeah.
Thanks,
Trying.
James.
Thank you.
Well, we're back here one more time at Quattro Restaurant here in Whistler as we continue our Whistler Food Spotlight. Jay, Lena and I have had a great time here today.
Awesome.
Thanks for
Pleasure
joining.
having you guys.
Yeah.
Oh, and the staff is busy getting ready to open.
We are.
Which
We are.
we're talking about. You guys are open 7 days a week.
Absolutely, yeah. We're back to open 7 days a week, right through the whole winter.
Wow.
And expecting a busy one. Expecting a busy winter.
Yes.
Yeah, it was a quiet 2020 for obvious reasons.
Not so much for
Oh,
us.
yeah? Okay.
Amazingly enough, Whistler was people wanted to come and play when they could, so we stayed pretty steady. You know, besides the shutdowns, but other than that, we've been rocking and rolling.
And you've got 2 great party well, actually 3 if you count that you can shut the doors. You've got one in the back there,
Yes.
and you've got an option of having 2 back there as well.
Yeah, we have
Beautiful.
the tasting room and then we have the private room that can do a party of 30.
Thank you for inviting us to Quattro today, Jay.
Thanks for coming.
Cheers, pal.
Yeah.
She is an artist advocate from Hong Kong with over 15 years working both in front of and behind the lens in media and entertainment. She's a nationally touring actor, singer-songwriter, and she is the co-founder of a great podcast called Bombshell Brunches. Joining us, we finally got her on the show. Christina Lau joins us. Good to see you, Chris.
It's so lovely to see you, and so lovely to meet you as well, Lita.
Yeah, and bringing us cookies, which she's definitely setting a new standard for our guests on the show. Hint, hint.
Yes, that is the new thing. You don't bring anything, you get half the time. Now that we got that out of the way, lots to talk about with you, Christina. Welcome once again.
Thank you so much. It's a pleasure to be here.
Well, so we want you to talk about this incredible podcast that you developed in under a year.
Yeah, well, I have to shout out to my co-founder Raquel, who we actually started with another friend of mine, another Raquel. A few years ago, we started in-person brunches, and we essentially created our version of an old boys club. Because we wanted to brunch, have mimosas, and connect with other creative women in the music industry. Everybody loves a good mimosa.
Yes.
And what had happened is we'd realized that we were feeling a little bit glass ceilinged. And so we got together with 2 rules. No networking and no cliques. So we just wanted to get to know other powerhouses like Lita, people like Lita in the industry, and you, Jim. I mean, you can be a bombshell. You can totally be a
nice cover.
Nice catch. And it grew and it grew, and I mean, we continued to have in-person brunches, and then eventually Raquel said to me, I want to do a podcast. I'd love to help women design braver, fuller lives, and it's now not just for women. That's how it started, and this is how it's going. We have a multi-season deal with Optic TV, so I just want to say thank you to Laura and the team at TELUS.
It's TELUS Optic, yeah.
It's TELUS Optic TV.
Yeah.
We have incredible guests. We just interviewed Miss Canada 2020. We have some really amazing ones in the pipeline, and the whole concept of it is to design your life the way that you really see it being most fulfilling for you.
Love that. Now, going right into reading your very extensive bio, you were born in Hong Kong, but you've lived all over the world. How has that influenced your work and your choices to advocate for different things?
That is an amazing question. Thank you for asking it. A lot of people, because I'm mixed race and because I kind of look like everything and nothing at the same time, it's been a really big sticking point for me to have people actually ask what my transnational culture has afforded me in terms of perspective. To answer that question, I think the thing that I would say is that when you grow up in different cultures that are collectivist-minded versus individualistic, and I grew up in Hong Kong, New Zealand, Australia, London, massive super cities and really tiny villages, you start to see patterns of humanity. And so when I look at what I'm doing, I think about what I can contribute to the world based on where I am right now and the lessons I've learned from everywhere. And sometimes I'll look, when I moved to Vancouver, I'm so impressed with the talent we have here, yourselves included. Like the quality of the programming, the quality of the questions, the quality of what you do. And then I look at it in contrast to places I've been before, and I see what I can add. I see what I can enrich, rather than getting stuck in sometimes what can be a silo, which happens often in Vancouver, it's been said, and in the province. So when I stood up to advocate, it was really with the intention of genuinely wanting to enrich what already is with unique skills that may or may not already exist here.
Well said. Hey, the new podcast, which we started out with, Bombshell Brunches, you'll find it on Optic TV, Thrive Global and Authority Magazine, right? Yes,
That's been, those are the two articles they've been...
About the,
yeah,
I see, okay.
We've got a few pieces of press out. Shout out to our wonderful publicist, Crystal Richard.
Oh, always thank the publicists. Got to do that.
Always thank the publicist, always thank the sound tech, always thank the camera people.
Yes.
Thanks, Mark. Thanks, Mark.
Yes, okay, well then check out Bombshell Brunches, Optic TV. Hey, it's been great to have you. Been wanting to get you on for a while. Christina Lau will have all her information in our closing credits. Thank you for joining us. And hey, cookies.
Cookies!
From now on, guess cookies or drinks or something. It's thanks for joining us.
Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Well, we're back here at Hydra Restaurant where we began the show. Joining us is the expert, the leader, the big cheese, the brand expert, the GM. She does it all. Claire, back on our show. Thank you for hosting us for our first show in 2022.
Always a pleasure to have you guys.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, tell us a little bit about Dine Out that's happening this year.
So all Executive Table Group restaurants are of course involved, offering some fantastic menus at a great value for Dine Out's 20th year running in Vancouver.
Wow.
Pretty nice. We should say before we go too, Claire, one of the things that we love is you have, and I can't emphasize this enough, just superb happy hours.
Yes, yeah, and Alouette's added a few new items in 2022 now that they're humming along after opening late summer 2021, and Hydra is going strong, and all of our Buckashuck at all of our locations throughout the city is still going.
Glad. Seaside, Freebird, Hydra, and Alouette.
Yeah,
the best oysters in town.
Yeah,
oh my
you've
God.
got Richmond covered, of course, downtown, and the North Shore in Lonsdale. Hey, thanks a lot again. Good
Our
to see
pleasure.
you. Cheers.
Good to see you.
And Happy New Year.
Thank you. You too.
Belated? Thanks. That does it from Hydra. Come check this great place out. We're in the Cabana Room right now. We appreciate them hosting us over the last few episodes. I'm Jim Gordon.
And I'm Lita Leapin.
We'll see you on the next edition of Our City Tonight. Outdoor wear for Jim and Lita provided by Helly Hansen, alive since 1877.
Soluzione Spa Products, a national luxury spa product distribution company located in North Vancouver, British Columbia.
While in Whistler, Our City Tonight stayed at the Blackcomb Lodge, serving guests in the heart of the village since 1980.